without further ado, I'd just like to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Jonathan Neville, and he has been a volunteer with Samaritans for 12 years and is currently the director of the Cork branch, which he does in his spare time. As director, he oversees 180 volunteers and leads the branch in effectively delivering Samaritan support services by phone, email, and face-to-face support on a 24-hour basis. The role also encompasses recruitment and training of volunteers, promotion of the service, engagement with external agencies, and commitment to the established policies of the Samaritans. So I'd just like to introduce Jonathan, and I just make him a co-host there now. So you should be able to see him now. So welcome, Jonathan.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. I'll just share my screen here. Just bear with me. Yeah.
So I leave it all up to you there, Jonathan, and I'll speak to you in a while.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Samaritans are a unique charity dedicated to reducing feelings of isolation and disconnection that can lead to suicide. And over the last 48 years, our volunteers have helped achieve that by providing a non-judgmental, confidential, and listening service by phone, email, and face-to-face visits. The vision of Samaritans is that few people die by suicide. And their mission is to make sure there's someone there for anyone who needs someone. Samaritans are ordinary people from different backgrounds, with one common goal: to be there for our callers. We give our callers our time and attention freely. We are not paid to do it. We undergo an intensive training program, which is highly valued outside Samaritans, some of which I'd like to share with you today. Many people worry that reaching out will be intrusive and make things worse. However, you'll soon be able to tell if a person that you're speaking to isn't comfortable or doesn't want to have that kind of conversation. If they don't want to open up, you can still let them know you're there for them. Once someone starts to share how they're feeling, it's important to listen. This could mean not offering advice, not trying to identify what they're going through with your own experiences, and not trying to solve their problems. Hence, we compiled the shush listening tips, which we will go through now. The first tip is to show you care. Focus on the other person, make eye contact, and put away the phone. To really listen to somebody, you need to give them your full attention, maintain eye contact, and be engaged. Getting into this habit takes practice, so don't be too hard on yourself and keep using these handy tips. When starting a conversation, resolve not to talk about yourself at all. Aim to learn at least one new thing about the person you're talking to. And finally, keeping a listening diary, just for a week. Record how many times you listened really well. Note what challenges and distracts you and what you think went well. The next tip is have patience. It may take time and several attempts before a person is ready to open up. Effective listening is about creating trust with the other person. The person sharing shouldn't feel rushed, or they won't feel it's a safe environment. If they pause in their response, wait. They may not have finished speaking. It may take some time to formulate what they are saying, or they may find it difficult to articulate what they are feeling. Through non-judgmental listening, you're allowing the person to relax into the conversation and to use it as a place to relax or work through difficult emotions. Our next tip is to use open questions. Use open questions that need more than a yes or no answer, and follow up with questions like, tell me more. An open-ended question means not jumping in with your own ideas about how the other person may be feeling. These questions don't impose a viewpoint and require the person to pause, think and reflect, and then hopefully expand. Avoid asking questions or saying something that closes down the conversation. Open-ended questions encourage them to talk. The conversation is a safe space that you are holding for them, and nothing they say is right or wrong. Try even asking, how are you feeling today? Our next tip is say it back. Check you understood, but don't interrupt or offer a solution. Repeating something back to somebody is really a good way to reassure them that you have their undivided attention. And you can check to see that you're hearing what they want you to hear and not putting your own interpretation onto the conversation. Finally, our last tip is have courage. Don't be put off by a negative response, and more importantly, don't feel you have to fill a silence. Sometimes it can feel intrusive and counterintuitive to ask someone how they feel. However, you'll soon be able to tell if someone is uncomfortable and doesn't want to engage with you at that level. You will be surprised at how willing people are to listen, and how sometimes it is exactly what someone needs to be able to share with you what is going on in their mind. Finally, if you're worried when someone is suicidal, it's okay to ask them directly. Research shows that this helps because it gives them permission to tell you how they feel, and it shows that they are not a burden at all. And before I finish, I'd like to share with you 3 tips to help you support your own mental health during this time. Firstly, talk about your feelings. Talking about your feelings can help you stay in good mental health and deal when times are troubled. If you don't have anyone to talk to, we listen. We won't judge or tell you what to do. So call us anytime on free phone 116 123. The second tip is contact by keeping in touch. There's nothing better than catching up with someone face to face, but during these times that's not always possible. However, we can still call, drop a note, chat a line, or even write a letter to our friends and family. And finally, taking a break. A change of scene or a change of pace is good for our mental health. It could be a 5-minute pause and clean your kitchen, half-hour lunch break, a weekend away exploring somewhere locally. A few minutes can be enough to distress you, giving yourself me time. Also, be aware we are surrounded by coronavirus news updates, and the overflow of it can affect our humour. So it's important to limit our interaction with those sources, namely the news and Facebook. I, for example, uninstalled Facebook from my phone, and I found that my own mood has lifted ever since because I'm not being barraged by all the updates about coronavirus. Thank you all for your time. I remember that we're here to listen 24/7 on free phone, on free phone 116 123.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. That was fantastic. I just have 1 or 2 questions for you, if that's okay. Just the first 2 are kind of interlinked. One is that, is the service free for people to contact? And also, is it confidential?
Yeah, the number is free to call from both landlines and mobiles, including pay-to-go mobiles. And you don't need any credit or any allowance to ring us on 116 123.
Great.
Yes, and our service is confidential. However, there are certain situations, the child safeguarding policy, where for someone we have to, say, call an ambulance or report things to Tulsa, for example.
Okay.
As is the law in Ireland as such, you know.
Very good. And is Samaritans a religious organisation?
No, we're not. Even though our name, Samaritans, implies a religious organisation, but that was a name given to us by the UK press back about 60 years ago. But we're not religious. The link, our listeners will not impose any personal beliefs on you.
Oh, very good. And do we offer counselling then, or is it?
No, we don't offer counselling because we're not professionals as such like that. But we will direct our callers to other services if it becomes apparent that is the right thing for them.
Brilliant. Jonathan, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you all.
I appreciate you coming on today, and I hope people got a better idea of what the service involves. And, you know, just to remind people that the Samaritans are purely all volunteers,
yes.
And so is Jonathan. So, you know, it's a full-time job on top of a full-time job. So,
yes.
And thank you very much for all that you do. And, you know, it's a fantastic service. So thanks very much for being involved today.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.